Okay, cool. Thank you.
So with those pre-tournament announcements out of the way,
Please have all your cell phones silenced.
it's my job. Okay. If you're not too winded from talking to the TV guys, please give us your overview.
I thought Cam out of the gate gave us nine good outs and, got out of a key situation there, I think, in the second inning, and thought he threw the ball well, and really Luke and Hunter and Cohen after that. Offensively, they did some really good things against us. I thought we got a little bit out of our norm a little bit. I thought we were a little bit too reactionary to maybe things that weren't going our way or calls or things like that. I thought our body language was not up to normal standards, and at this time of year, you want it so bad. I think a lot of times, when things don't go your way, I think it's over magnified, and so I just talked to our guys a little bit about, hey, let's get back into, just living pitch for pitch, and I thought they just battled the whole day. It wasn't easy. Oral Roberts, as we know, leads the country in run differential from the seventh inning on, so they're never out of a baseball game, and especially after Friday night, being able to come back and secure the victory today was really awesome. But hats off to that club. 52 games, winning 52 games is hard to do, and they had an amazing season, and just hats off to Ryan and his whole team. And I just thought they're just a gritty bunch that played extremely hard. So.
Okay, let's open it up for questions for the student athletes. Please raise your hand. We'll get a hand mic to you. And we'll start with Brendan back here.
Brendan Prizeman, Omaha World Herald. Cam, this question's for you. You went 3 innings and only gave up 1 hit against a team that was hitting almost 300 heading into today in the CWS. What were you seeing out there that was enabling you to mow down their lineup like you were in that first 3 innings of the game?
Really for me, it's just like Coach Schloss said, living pitch for pitch. I think a lot of times I get myself in trouble, and just having the mindset of living pitch for pitch, I just, it's exactly in the moment. So just worrying about executing pitch to pitch. I don't have to worry about, who's hitting 300, who's hitting 250, 450, whatever it may be. Just executing pitch for pitch and trying to give my team the best chance to win is, how I tried to go about it today.
Okay, Aaron, you had your hand up.
Yeah, Aaron Fitt, D1 Baseball. Curtis, Anthony, the 5th inning obviously kind of seemed like you guys had an opportunity there and pounced on it. That's something this team does pretty well. And also, of course, the way you guys forced the action. If you could just kind of expand upon the way this team's style of play can impact the opponent and how you feel like that worked today.
Curtis, start.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the biggest thing, they were doing a really good job of making good pitches, kind of slowing us down a little bit, nibbling off the plate. They were doing a great job executing. But I think the biggest thing for us, Coach talked about it, it's all about winning pitches, especially down the stretch in that 5th inning on, and really just not trying to do too much and let our training, everything take over, and just not trying to, force the issue at that point of the game.
Anthony?
Throughout this whole season, we've probably been in every situation possible, so we know how to handle all of that, and we've practiced every situation possible. So, it's what we've been training all season long since the fall, and we just need to play our game, and that's exactly what we did.
Okay, go over here.
Matt Tallery from World Baseball Network. Anthony, what was just the mindset going into that at-bat in the 5th inning and just staying back on the baseball?
I was just trying to get a good pitch to hit, and he did make a good pitch low and away, and I stuck my bat out there and found some grass. That's all that happened.
Okay. Here.
Barry Lewis with Killer Frogs. Curtis, Friday I think you had 1 hit, Sunday no hits. How did it feel? 2 at-bats, 2 big hits.
Yeah, the first 2 games didn't really go my way, I would say, especially yesterday. But, just sticking with my routine and my process and not worrying too much about the outcome right now, I think that was the biggest thing today. Just all about winning pitches, and, it worked out for me today.
Okay. Go over here. Barry Lewis with Killer Frogs. Curtis, Friday I think you had 1 hit, Sunday no hits. How did it feel? 2 at-bats, 2 big hits. Yeah, the first 2 games didn't really go my way, I would say, especially yesterday. But, just sticking with my routine and my process and not, worrying too much about the outcome right now, I think that was the biggest thing today. Just all about winning pitches and, Okay, next question for the student athletes. Okay, Brendan.
Hi, Brendan Prizeman, World Herald. This question's for all three of you guys. This is kind of a measure of revenge, given what happened in the last Oral Roberts game. Was that a motivator for the mentality at all, especially as the game got later on, or was it just, Cam, like you said earlier, taking things one game at a time and just focusing on the present?
Cam, you start.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything had to do with it. I mean, we're playing in Omaha in an elimination game. I think that's the motivation we needed. We've been doing it all year with our backs against the wall. And Coach Lowe's talked about that, right after that game on Friday. And I think for us, there's nothing that needs to be said between all of us, through everything that we've been through this entire year. We've all really grown and meshed as one unit. Everything's been just super tough, super fun. Everybody loves each other, everybody fights, everybody's brothers. And so, the motivation is just playing for each other and playing for the name on the front and just trying to take it one day at a time.
Curtis?
Yeah, I don't think you could really say better than that. I think Cam really nailed it on the head.
Anthony?
I agree.
Good. Okay, Matt, this will be our last question for the student athletes.
Oh, sorry.
Matt DeMarinis, White and Blue Review. Cam, after those first few pitches were out of the zone to start the game, kind of took a moment off the mound to, compose yourself in some manner. What did you do there? How did you settle back in? How did you get through that first inning and then through that second?
Yeah, I think it's funny. I'll reference back when Coach Lewis took a mound visit, not in that inning, but it's just like he told me we've been here before. We've gotten out of this before, and that's just kind of like something that I'm comfortable in. When the pressure's on, just keep fighting and going pitch for pitch. And, when you're focusing on just winning one pitch at a time, it really doesn't seem like anything else has happened. And I think that was super important for me and my success for the rest of that inning, for the rest of my outing. If I would have let one bat at bat, ruin the rest of that first inning, maybe there's a hole that our offense has to dig, and I didn't want to be a part about that. So just living pitch for pitch and try my best to execute was, all that I needed to do.
Okay, guys, thank you. You're excused.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is Lance here? Did Lance come? Lance Brown?
I don't think he did. No.
Thanks, guys. Okay, open it up for questions for Kirk, and we'll start with Mike here.
Michael Presti, NCAA.com. Kirk, when a team has had to fight for weeks with its back to the wall, how important and valuable is that now when you're going in a situation where you're fighting for survival?
Well, I think it's super important. I think because, I've said it before, we've been playing kind of this style or this type of game situation, for 6 weeks. So I think it's just what they've been doing, and I don't think now it's, there's a second deck on the stadium and there's 23,000 people. I don't think it has changed anything. It's the same thing it was when we, really needed to win 2 out of 3 up at K-State and play good baseball down the stretch. I think they finally realized, I don't know if realized is the right word, but I think they got consistent at being consistent, and I think that's the great thing is being able to see that from a ball club that has had stretches where it wasn't very consistent. So that's the neat thing about coaching 18 to 22-year-old kids is it's fun when they all grab hold of it together and don't want it to end, and I think that's what this group is doing. They're just they got their head down. They haven't taken a second to look up, and I think they're enjoying what they've been able to do.
Okay, let's go with Sam here.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win. Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald. I wanted to ask you about the second called out there at third base. Yeah. What did the umpire tell you? I noticed online there was a previous play earlier this year where a similar thing had happened. What did the umpire tell you, and what maybe needs to change about the rule interpretation?
Well, the umpire told me that, the call on the field was that obviously they got Elijah out, and then he called Austin safe. And so when they went back and reviewed the play, they saw that Austin was off the bag, and it didn't really matter that he was forced off the bag because the umpire on the field did not say there was obstruction. So as soon as the call on the field, he didn't say there was obstruction, then you can't actually go and I can't go and review the fact that, hey, he was pushed off the bag. The only thing that they can review is the fact that he was off the bag and he was tagged out. They can't review if he was pushed off or not because it wasn't ruled that way on the field.
Would you like to see the NCAA revisit that?
That's way above my pay grade. Obviously, with the length of the review, I think there was a lot of questions, maybe going back and forth in terms of, because I hadn't seen that and I had never been a part of that. So I think there was probably a lot of talk back and forth back in the replay studio, figuring out what are the steps here. Because I think they probably went through multiple steps. All right, Elijah was tagged out. Okay, yes. Austin Davis, he was on the bag and then he was off the bag. Okay, and then was he tagged? Okay, yes, he was. And like I said, if the umpire's judgment, you can't really review the judgment of an umpire because he didn't make the call that it was, and I don't blame him. I mean, he had a dive, a tag, right into another tag, and there was 3 bodies all right there. And so for him he got all the calls right. Well, he got the call right with Elijah, and then I think at that point it was just so many bodies. There really wasn't. He didn't call obstruction, and there wasn't anything that I don't think he could do. But I thought for the most part, in terms of the ruling on that and the ruling on the balk or the overturn on that, I thought that was done well, extremely well. I thought they got the calls right, and obviously that one didn't go our way, and it was mainly our fault for even putting ourselves in that position by our base runners. So,
Okay, Matt.
Matt DiMarinis, White Miller Review. Kirk, I mean, I'm sure you can understand that part of the beauty of baseball is its quirks, and you see things that maybe you've never seen before happen. What was that 5th inning like for you, doing your interview with ESPN, then you have a call where you have to go talk to the umpires, back to the interview, losing a run off the board, then breaking the dam and opening the game up?
Yeah, I think, part of those in-game interviews, like I don't do a whole lot when our hitters are hitting. Coach Bruce and Coach Delara and Coach Mosiello and our offense is doing everything. I kind of just sit on the rail and cheer like the rest of our guys. And so being down there, and I got a good buddy up in the booth, Chris Burke, and so we had the interview, and then that happens, and it's kind of like, okay, this is fun. Let's go see what he has to say. And but I think the big thing was being able to overcome that and figuring out a way to score some more runs, and it obviously was big because you got the bases loaded and a guy with a bunch of home runs standing in there, in a 3-2 count. It's a little bit different if it's a 2-1 or 3-1 game.
Aaron.
Aaron Fitt, D1 Baseball. Los, this team now has been here for, played 3 games and won a couple. First of all, does it feel like, can you sense, maybe an added comfort level that comes once you're out here a few days and you kind of get that extra maybe confidence boost from being used to the setting? And secondly, the way that you were able to string this game together on the mound today and what you've got now rested for tomorrow, do you feel like it's kind of setting up pretty well for you pitching-wise? Yeah,
I mean, the first part of the question, I think anytime you come here, your goal is to win the College World Series. And, I've been luckily enough been here 7 different times and I don't think we've been able to win a game. And I think sometimes when you get here and you get caught up in everything, you forget about the baseball portion of it. And I think this group has done a really good job of handling all the distractions and being able to play baseball. But I think after losing the first game in the way that we did, I thought the way that they responded to it against Virginia and winning that game, I think gave them a little bit of a comfort of being able to be here, get to play on Tuesday, and to get another practice, to be able to be with one another. I think our plane, the people that we flew with, I think we almost were over our weight limit because everybody packed pretty heavily because we're planning on being here for a long time. So I didn't really want to be part of a deal where you pack for 10 days, 2 weeks, and next thing you know, you're back home in 3 days. So, but our guys, give them the credit that's amazing in terms of, I think they just like to play baseball, and when the game comes calling, they're ready for it. And the second part of it, I think the big thing was, Hunter Hodges, getting Luke back out there, but then Hunter Hodges coming in, and I don't remember the last time Hunter threw in a game for us. It's been a bit, and he's been able to come into situations like I told him. I said, hey, when bases loaded, first and second, I want that guy to be you, and for him to come in and give us 2 1/3 innings was huge for us. And then Cohen have a really good 8th inning, making things interesting in the 9th. But I thought those 2 guys were huge in terms of us moving forward. If we got the opportunity to play tomorrow, to be able to, get 4 1/3 innings from 2 guys that haven't been used a whole lot in the last 2 weeks. So that was pivotal. I don't know who we're going to throw tomorrow, but it's going to be someone that's pretty good, and we'll string it together and we'll figure it out. I know somebody was going to ask me who the starter is, so I'll just ask. I'll tell you now. I don't know.
We're going to have to cut it off there on time. So thanks, Kirk.
You bet. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yep.